The legislative session is complete. We'll get into the good, the bad, and the ugly this morning. Plus, high school championship basketball continues. The girls' tournament wrapped up Saturday. Boys get started this week. We've got a lot to get into. Let's do it.
Attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set line up link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Cue Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. We appreciate you being part of the program today. If you're listening in on one of our great radio affiliates across the state, you can thank Sophia Wasik. She's our audio producer this morning. If you're watching on the MetroNews television app or Facebook Live or YouTube, Zach Karolchek is making certain all of those viewing apparati are up and running. Coming up this morning, Brad McElhinny will stop by. We'll recap and put a bow on the legislative session. Amelia Knisley will offer her perspective in the second hour. Kyle Wiggs will get us updated on basketball that is now complete and basketball that is coming up at the Charleston Coliseum and at Hope Coliseum next weekend as well. Jonathan Savage with an update on the latest in the military conflict in the Middle East. We were waiting for it all session. What would be the one thing that would capture the attention of the legislators and lawmakers and possibly throw the whole session off the rails? And it took until the final couple of days, in fact, the final hours and minutes of the session, and it was Rayleigh's law, the law that would prevent a child from being removed from schools or transferring schools in the event of a child abuse or neglect investigation being open. That law had come up. It failed to get through the House, and in some maneuvers late, got put into another bill in the Senate, got kicked back over to the House, and in the final hours, it sparked emotional and heated debate in the House. Sean Fluharty, Ohio County Delegate, has been a champion of this bill. He has introduced this bill in each of the last several legislative sessions, and he passionately advocated for passage.
It's simple. It's one page. It comes from a judge and an assistant prosecutor. And you all politicized it. So when you kill the bill again, her picture's out front. I couldn't bring it in here because what I did last time, I'm sure you've seen the news. What I did last time, you changed the rules, so I couldn't bring her in here again. So when you reject her tonight, go out there and at least have the guts to look at her. We know this bill is good. We know who it was drafted by. We know what it stands for. It's not about homeschoolers. It's not attacking homeschoolers. Those who pretend to be and actually abuse is who we're going after. You should want to do that. Why are we here defending child abusers? It's insane.
Now, Delegate Adam Burkhammer argued that the bill was not in its best form.
If we really want to protect kids, maybe we should write good law. Because the law before you is not going to protect one single child. It will not function. Our job is to write good law. And we need to write good law, and we need to protect kids. And this garbage of kicking this same bill around for the last 4 years, it didn't pass because it's bad law.
Delegate Elliott Pritt begged the legislature to pass the bill.
We have a moment here to do something to protect children that are in harm's way. That is a fact, and I'm very sorry if that fact is very uncomfortable for some of you to deal with.
It was in the final 48 minutes of the regular session. Delegates debated a proposal to place that hold on, and eventually time ran out on Rayleigh's law. Brad McElhinny was covering everything that was happening in the final moments of the legislative session, as he did for 60 days. He joins us on MetroNews Talkline to help try to put all of this into context. Morning, Brad.
Oh, hello and good morning.
Brad,
that was as you heard, a very emotional final 48 minutes of the session. and it was up against the clock. Those who wanted this bill to pass, certainly felt not only the emotions of the backstory of Rayleigh Browning, who was 8 years old when she died in an abuse and neglect case in 2018. That tugs the heartstrings anyway, but the pressure to try to get this bill through. And then those who believe the bill is flawed, who believe that the construction of this bill would not necessarily protect children, who were instead offering other policies that they believe would go further. They were also impassioned on that final night. And then finally, what you didn't hear there was up against the clock. It was a crescendo of process. People arguing that debate should be cut off against the clock to try to get things through. People frustrated that they were not being heard. Debate being limited to a certain number of minutes. So it was just really a lot to take in, up against a very serious policy.
Brad, a couple of things about this, the final days of the legislature and this bill in particular. It took some procedural maneuvering on the Senate side to get this amended into another bill, which was a pretty kind of innocuous bill repealing obsolete code in the educational code in Section 18 there. They were able to get this amended in and actually had to override the ruling of the Senate President, Randy Smith, which rarely happens.
That's right. So that was dramatic in its own way. It's all running together for me, but I think that was fairly late Friday.
Yeah.
And, so if you're going to amend a different policy into a bill, you're up against whether it's germane, meaning whether it applies to the same section of code. And so that was one of the barriers that senators who want this policy really had to think through. And they were led by, among others, Senator Ryan Weld of Brooke County, Senator Amy Nicole Grady, who's the education chairwoman from Mason County. And so they made their move, I think, fairly well. They let others know that this was coming, in fairness. But Senate President Randy Smith had to make a couple of determinations about whether it was germane. On the first, he ruled that it was. And on the second ask, he ruled that it was not. And Senator Weld got up and challenged that. And essentially it went to a vote of the 34 senators. They won the challenge. The Senate president lost it. That is, I think, a rarity, and by procedure standpoints, it was pretty dramatic. So then that eventually put the bill into the ballpark of the House. So yeah, this got out of the Senate Friday evening, and then the House gathered at 9 a.m. Saturday for a day that was going to have a deadline of midnight, and it took until 11:12 p.m. for this matter to get to the floor.
Was there an explanation offered why this took so long to get to the floor?
There was no official explanation. It is a slog of each chamber responding to each other's bills that have been passed in the final hours. It truly is an enormous number. And behind the scenes, each chamber's bills go before lawyers and other people to review them to make sure that there are not mistakes, errors, and to make a determination, to make a recommendation for the House or for the Senate. We should agree, or this is not our position, we should send it back. There's a lot going on in the background, and it on the front end can look like unreasonable delays, but there are things going on. What we heard all day, we reporters consistently, there was scuttlebutt that the House supermajority caucus was undecided, unsettled on this matter, that they knew it was going to be a brawl. And, you read into that. Well, I will just tell you my own personality, Dave, is if something is going to be hard, if it's going to be difficult, I will procrastinate it. I think that's my human nature, and that's what I would project onto the House of Delegates.
Brad McElhinny is joining us, MetroNews Talkline, and of course, MetroNews Statewide Correspondent. Brad, that was most of the drama was concerning Raleigh's Law on Friday and then into Saturday. No drama, really, on the budget. The governor's line item vetoes were accepted, and we passed the budget. We passed the tax cut, and now the governor is out, I think, taking the win on that.
So to review, the tax cut that we've heard so much about, the governor reflected 5% tax cut in his submitted budget. He rallied early and often for 10% instead, wanted to have a stretch goal of 10%. Didn't get that. The legislature in the end chose the 5% rather undramatically. The only little drama that came with it was the Senate had an offset, an increase of the vape tax, which would have amounted to roughly $16 million a year. That's an offset compared to the $125 million anticipated of revenue going down for the 5% income tax cut. And in the end, the legislature decided not to do that roughly $16 million vape tax increase. It's just a slice of the budget. It's a $5.5 billion budget that passed in terms of general revenue. So if there was any drama, it was that vape tax, but it was not really much drama at all in the end.
There was some drama over teacher and state employee pay raises over in the Senate side. They had amended that bill, the 3% pay raise bill, to include locality pay. But over on the House side, they weren't all about the locality pay, Brad. So what happened with that bill?
No, they never are. So first of all, I should say for people out there worrying if you're a state employee, the reason the state does a specific bill for educators and state police is their salary scales are in state code. And so if you're going to give them a raise, you got to adjust state code with a bill. Other state employees are taken care of within the general revenue budget. Sometimes people need an explanation of that. So the Senate has a strong Eastern Panhandle contingent. In particular, the Senate Finance Chairman, Jason Barrett, a Republican, is from Martinsburg, and cost of living is just different. That area is in the DC exurbs. It's up against Loudoun County, Montgomery County, Frederick, Maryland, places that have a high standard of living. Educators and other public employees can just cross the border and get, they can commute and get higher salaries. So that's an important issue in that area, but it's a hard sell in the House of Delegates where it's 100 members. In particular, I've heard over and over and over coalfield delegates say, I can't take this back to the coalfields and tell my constituents why people in the Eastern Panhandle are getting paid better. So the House resisted that locality pay aspect of the pay raise bill that Senator Barrett had championed, would not agree to it on the final day of the session. And with 11 minutes to go before midnight, the Senate finally passed just a clean pay raise bill. They wanted to at least pass a pay raise just generally. Both the governor and the legislature had been promising it. And I know from having talked to him that Senator Barrett, Senate Finance Chairman from Martinsburg, had real misgivings and just was very frustrated with the House of Delegates about resistance to the locality pay because it's a real fact of life in his area.
Finally, Brad, about 45 seconds here. E-Verify. We spent some time talking about that on the show. It got through the House. There may have been some delegates with buyer's remorse, but that bill also did not make it back out of the Senate, and time ran out on it.
Mm-hmm. That is a bill that would have made employers in West Virginia register their employees with an online, I think it's online, database called E-Verify. It's meant to track unlawful immigration, but it was viewed as a burden potentially on very, very small businesses. It was amended in the final time ticking down in the Senate to not include private employers, kind of watered down. And it was happening about the same time that the aforementioned Rayleigh's Law debate was going on in the House. So the House was going to have to agree to whatever changes the Senate made, and they never got around to it. So all of the debate we've had about E-Verify, maybe you've learned what it is, but mark it off your board. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
MetroNews Statewide Correspondent Brad McElhinny. Brad, congratulations. You survived another 60-day legislative session.
It's coming up again before you know it.
Brad, we appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Hey, thanks.
Brad's reports all session long, presented by AARP, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State. Connect on social media at aarp.org/WV and on social media AARP West Virginia. Coming up, the latest from Iran.
Looking for a career that truly matters? Healthcare offers stability, great benefits, and careers that are in demand right now. From patient care to technology and support roles, healthcare careers offer flexibility and opportunity. Not sure where you fit? Take the quick healthcare career quiz at explorehealthcareerswv.com. Discover the path that's right for you. Healthcare careers, where passion meets purpose.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Picture a community where every space tells a story. Those are the communities we're designing at ZLM Architects and Engineers. With a blend of creativity and technical expertise, we design spaces that inspire, innovate, and ignite change. From cutting-edge educational facilities to community-centric gathering spaces, we're committed to improving lives through design. Let us help you shape a brighter future for generations to come. Because at ZLM, it's more than architecture. It's about building your legacy.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
The war in Iran entering its third week. The Strait of Hormuz has become a flashpoint, and you can feel the impacts at the pumps. Let's get the latest from Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage. Jonathan, good morning. I mentioned the Strait of Hormuz. That's become a major flashpoint in this conflict. Is there any indication that maybe U.S. and Israel allies could get into the fight to try to provide safe passage through there?
It would appear not at this stage. Countries have come out to say that they will not be responding to President Trump's plea to form a coalition. Also a suggestion that the future of NATO would be very bad if allies refuse to help has been given short shrift by some of those allies, including Germany. Defence Minister Boris Pistorius said, "This is not our war. We have not started it." British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the UK is working with allies on a viable plan to reopen the strait. He said it would not be easy, and he also said it would not be a NATO mission either. We've heard Japan, Australia and Greece also refusing to send Navy ships at this time.
As far as the military operations, what is the latest? President Trump saying that they've been able to hit some islands there around the strait, and Israel continuing its airstrikes.
Yeah, one of the interesting points in the last few days was the U.S. military bombing a very small island off the coast of Iran. It's small, but it's important because it's home to a major Iranian oil terminal. It also had a large number of military facilities, and President Trump says it was the military facilities on Kharg Island that he was targeting and that they were totally obliterated. He said that the U.S. held off targeting the Iranian oil infrastructure because it would take a long time for that to be put back in place. So that is what is happening in terms of challenging the Iranian military in the Persian Gulf and its efforts to close off the Strait of Hormuz. But meanwhile, Israel and the United States continuing airstrikes across at least 3 cities in Iran today.
What is Israel saying about strikes on top leaders, top government officials in Iran?
Nothing in particular at the moment. We know that they have targeted top government.
Yep. Well, we've lost. I don't think we've lost Jonathan Savage, but we certainly lost our connection there. All right, we will continue to follow that. Now that we're out of the legislative session, we'll probably spend a lot more time on that. But that is the latest update from Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage. Coming up, going to talk to Monongalia County Delegate Geno Chiarelli. He is going to join us. We'll get his take on the legislative session, the good, the bad, the ugly. In fact, I've got a few things jotted down. I'll let you know what I think, the good, the bad, and the ugly as far as the legislative session goes. And you could probably guess on a couple of those. We'll get your thoughts as well at 304 Talk 304. You listened to us for the past 60 days from Charleston. Man, we were there probably 40 of the days. But you can weigh in as well. 304 Talk 304. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the other as well. All right, we got Jonathan Savage back. Hey, Jonathan, we've got you back. We've got about 40 seconds here. You were saying, the Israelis were saying what about government officials?
Yeah, we know that Israel has said that any supreme leader who continues Iran's current path will be considered a legitimate target. They killed the previous supreme leader. They killed a significant number of other top officials in Iran. So it's fairly clear that Israel has no problem with targeting senior officials. There's speculation about whether the current supreme leader is actually still alive. The only statement we got from him was read by a television news reader, not seen any pictures. He's understood to be injured in those early strikes.
Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage. Jonathan, we appreciate the update. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
304 Talk 304 is the text line. Phone number is 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. We'll talk to Monongalia County Delegate Geno Chiarelli. He will join us in studio. On the other side of the news break, your thoughts are welcome as well. Kyle Wiggs coming up second hour, host of MetroNews Sportsline, will catch us up on some basketball. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It's 10:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening across the great state of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. There's no vape tax increase out of this year's legislative session. It was part of the income tax cut bill, but the House took out the vape tax and passed a 5% cut in the income tax instead. The state Senate ended up agreeing with that move. Senate Education Committee Chairman Jason Barrett says when it gets down to it, the tax cut's a higher priority.
The important part is that the people of West Virginia are going to receive a 5% personal income tax cut, and that's where the focus of the Senate has been, to be able to provide the largest tax cut that we could get the House to agree to.
Increasing the vape tax could have brought in about $22 million. A bill did make it through that regulates where vape shops can be located.
Lawmakers have passed House Bill 5437, placing new restrictions on vape shops and products. Sponsor of the bill, Mon County Delegate David McCormick, says the new law increases licensing fees. Products must now be verified, and no more marketing with cartoon characters in movies.
This right here, in my opinion, is the root of how kids get hooked on drugs. And so I think we're eradicating it.
Existing shops have to comply when they renew their licenses. I'm Mike Nolting for WVMetroNews.com.
Wind advisory, severe thunderstorm warnings. We've had some weather already on this first day of the work week, and it's going to be colder by the time you head home from work today. And some snow is possible, although significant accumulation not in the forecast. You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Who are the toughest men and women in the area? It's the 33rd annual Parsons Ford Tough Man Contest, coming to the Berkeley Rec Center in Martinsburg. Co-sponsored by Miller Lite, Extreme Family Fitness, Coors Light, and Lush Gentlemen's Club. Buy tickets or the pay-per-view at WVToughman.com. That's WVToughman.com. It's the Parsons Ford Tough Man Contest, coming this Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. to the Berkeley Rec Center in Martinsburg.
Hi, I'm Grant Maltba, Project Manager with CEC. Ever dreamt of working hands-on with wildlife? As a bat biologist at CEC, I do just that. Every day is a new adventure, tackling unique challenges and helping clients meet their Endangered Species Act requirements. It's not just rewarding for me, but it boosts our local economy and aids bat conservation too. Want to make a difference in the field? Join us at CEC. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
The E-Verify bill did not make it through. It would have required certain employers to do additional check of the residency status of people they hire. Putnam County Senator Eric Tarr says it was a dangerous path.
If we're going to go in and make different rules for West Virginians that are more strict than the federal government and create more regulation for our job creators here in West Virginia, we have absolutely no place in inviting job creators into West Virginia.
Read more about its demise at our website this morning. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
Text line is 304-TALK 304. Phone number is 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. I'll get to my good, bad, and ugly from the 60-day legislative session coming up. A little bit later, Amelia Knisley joins us, and Kyle Wiggs. We'll talk some basketball, all kinds of basketball happening this week, and last week for that matter. We'll get into all that coming up in the second hour of Metro News Talkline. Fresh off the 60-day legislative session is Monongalia County Delegate Geno Chiarelli. He joins me here in the Encova Insurance Studios in Morgantown. Morning, Geno. How you doing, buddy?
Excellent, Dave. Thanks for having me. I can't think of a better place to be first thing back in Morgantown than right here on Talkline.
Glad to be home in your own bed, own pillow.
Nothing beats it.
Okay, there's a couple of things I want to get into specifically about the 60-day session, but what stood out to you over in the House?
I think what stood out to me is this was the completion of my fourth term. I have never seen the House of Delegates so united when it comes to driving their single mission. I think we were really able to rally behind the speaker's Jobs First, Opportunity Everywhere program. I think that the legislation that passed out of the House for the most part really reflected that was our wants and desires. We really tried to unite and be the body that the state needed us to be. And I'm immensely proud of it. We're still the House. There's still 100 of us. There's a lot of different conflicting viewpoints, obviously, as we've seen. But for the most part, I'm very, very, very proud of my colleagues.
I think you got 16. I think there were 16 or 17 bills in that Jobs First agenda. They all got through, and not each one of them individually. Geno, they're not knock your socks off type bills. Although I thought Team West Virginia was, but I'll get into that discussion a little bit later. But when you put those all together, they are impactful to make West Virginia a better business state, to create economic development. And I think, again, like you said, I'll go back to what Delegate Riley said. I think the House did a pretty good job of having a plan and sticking to it and pushing that plan through the 60-day session and not getting lost. There were some weird conversations. Don't get me wrong.
As there always is.
But I don't think the House in particular got lost in some of that it has in years past.
No, I agree. I think if you look at the totality of the Jobs First, Opportunity Everywhere program, maybe no individual bill was going to be the golden ticket to prosperity. However, each individual bill in that was designed to be one more bite of the apple. And before you know it, you've eaten the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I think that the overwhelming majority of the House was very, very excited to push something like that. It was refreshing. Whenever I talked to constituents about it, they really liked the shift in focus. And we knew that all of the bills weren't going to complete the process ultimately, but that certainly didn't stop us from letting the people of West Virginia know where the House of Delegates stood this year.
Monongalia County Delegate Geno Chiarelli joining me in studio. Several years past, Rayleigh's Law has been introduced. It's actually cleared the House a couple of times in the past. Why did it take on, in your opinion, such a life form this time? It became the thing in the final days of the session this year.
Yeah, well, I think that there's a few topics that we've seen that really invoke a lot of emotion, and child welfare is certainly one of those. And I can say outright 100% that I don't believe that there's a single person in that building that doesn't want what's best for children. People just have different visions of how to get there. And any notion to suggest otherwise or saying that people were protecting abusers, frankly, I take offense with, because I serve with 99 other people. I disagree with a lot of them a lot of the time. However, I don't think that's the case for anybody. So I think that nobody wants to see children in danger. We just have different policy ideas of how to prevent it from happening.
Is it good policy or bad policy?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. Yeah. I suppose my personal opinion about Rayleigh's Law is I don't think that the underlying idea of saying that there has to be a delay after a report is filed against you is the worst idea in the world. But on the other side of the argument, I don't know if that's the most pressing matter when it comes to how do we address preventing tragedies from happening to children in the future. So once again, it's a nuanced idea. There has to be some gray, and my advice to anybody with any opinion on it is be prepared to come to the table so we can come up with a solution that works for everybody, because when the two sides of this continually fight and when it blows up the way that it did, I think the only people that really ultimately suffer are children.
Well, the hard part in a discussion like that is the emotion. I'll pick on Delegate Fluharty for just a moment because he's fine. He can take it. And I'm not picking on him. He's very impassioned.
Yeah.
Very passionate and believes wholeheartedly in this bill. But when you have that emotion, you have that passion, it's hard to have a matter-of-fact discussion about whether or not this is good, bad, or what are the unintended consequences that you could be dealing with through a bill like this because of the emotion that's involved.
Right, and I think that emotion is often met with emotion, and I think in the final 2 hours there that we were on the floor, I think a lot of people that were against the law, that were against the idea of it, used a lot of political and procedural tools to extend the debate so they wouldn't have to ultimately take a vote on it, knowing that it was going to die. Those are political tools, procedural tools that are available to them. They, of course, have that right to do it, but I just don't think that it was handled correctly, and I don't think a conversation like that is best had in the final hours.
What did not get addressed during this session you wish would have been?
What did not get addressed this session? I think we could have taken some extended looks at CPS overall. We had a bill on our side that came out, was 4602, which started a pilot program for contracting out case aid services for CPS. We almost lost that bill because of a certain very gung-ho Senate Judiciary Chairman who frankly thought that he knew a lot better, but we were able to get that language amended in, so I think that that's a potential big help. I think a lot of the policy ideas that were offered at the end when it comes to Rayleigh's Law and amendment, I think that there were some good pieces in there. I wish we were able to address those through the committee process instead as well. But 60 days it feels like a long time when you're just starting out, but it's a very short time, so it's hard to get to everything that you want. I also would be remiss if I did not mention the fact that I've been pushing for the camping bill for a couple of years now, and that's another one that ultimately didn't survive.
That bill, and that is a big deal in your district, particularly here in Morgantown.
Yes, it is.
Because there are issues of people who will camp out, homeless individuals who will camp in public spaces, and it's a big talking point locally. Your bill would have been a statewide ban on camping in public spaces. That's the broad strokes, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And that cleared the House.
It did. There was a little bit of a fight on the floor. I wish that people would understand that this is not a mandate for law enforcement officers to leave the precinct in the morning with batons and beat people over the head that are just trying to survive. I don't think that that's what's going to happen at all. We talk about all the time how much we trust our law enforcement, and 5319, I think, was a tool in their tool belt that would have allowed them to selectively enforce this law when they were addressing criminal vagrancy. I'm not against someone just trying to survive. And again, nobody in the building, I believe, is. But unfortunately, there are people that are homeless, that are occupying public spaces, that do not care about the law. They do not care about the rights of others. So they just use these public spaces as their living rooms. They do drugs out in public. They create petty crime. There's vandalism and breaking and entering. I've talked to plenty of property owners and business owners where their livelihood, their investments in our state are suffering. I think that they need to be thought of as well. So we got it through the House, but unfortunately that was another one that the Senate Judiciary Chairman Tom Willis didn't think was a priority because it was on the agenda on the final day, and then for one reason or another, I guess he just pulled it off.
Is that just politics?
That's a
Deep,
really
heavy sigh.
That's a pretty good catch-all question, I guess. It seems to me at certain points, at least from what I've heard from other people, that Tom Willis was very personally motivated in a lot of this. People that he didn't like for whatever reason had a really, really hard time getting their bills through at all. There was a lot of fight to get Bailey's Law through, not to be confused with Rayleigh's Law. Bailey's Law was the increased penalties for DUI resulting in death. The GOP chairman, Josh Holstein, fought tooth and nail to get that bill passed, and he should be very, very proud of himself for accomplishing that. But if it takes families in the Capitol in tears for you to pass something, I don't know. That doesn't sit right with me.
Has that surprised you? You've just finished your, third term, fourth term?
This is I'm finishing my second term.
Second term. I put you down there longer. Feels they all
I
run
lost all
together,
my hair,
Geno.
so maybe you think I've been here longer.
But are you surprised at how much personal politics ends up playing in whether or not legislation runs or not?
The longer that I serve, I think I'm less surprised at it. It doesn't decrease the amount of disappointment that I feel over it because we're supposed to be the adults in the room that are making decisions for 1.8 million people. You'd think that we'd be able to set personal grudges aside and just get good work done, but as we've seen time and time again, that's just not how it works. People are human, legislators included, so I think you have to account for the fact that we bring our emotional hangups, we bring our personal business into the Capitol regardless, but I think the best legislators are the ones that are able to set that aside, come to the table in good faith, and craft good legislation.
Monongalia County Delegate Geno Chiarelli joining me in studio. What'd you think of locality pay? The Senate took the 3% pay raise bill, amended that on. The House did not concur with that. What are your thoughts?
I listened to Senator Oliverio on the local show this morning on Talk of the Town, and I think he brought some good points. When we talk about West Virginia, we're talking about a very diverse state. The Eastern Panhandle isn't the Northern Panhandle. North Central West Virginia is not the Coalfields. Charleston, Huntington, doesn't matter where you're at. It's very, very difficult to legislate appropriately for the entire state and have everybody agree. Very rarely does that happen. However, I do think that we have to take into account the fact that it is harder to live in places on some of these salaries like Berkeley and Jefferson County, like Monongalia County. So when it comes to locality pay, the specifics of this bill, I frankly was able to support that because I think it would have resulted in an additional almost $4,000 raise for teachers and school service personnel here in Monongalia County. I certainly couldn't say no to a proposal like that because every time I'm down there, every time I press the button, I want to make sure I'm doing right by our people here. I have to remember them when I'm there. Even as a statewide legislator, I'm also the delegate from the 78th, so I have to keep those both in balance. So the locality pay, as we know, it didn't make it ultimately, but we were still able to secure that 3% raise clean. The Senate rescinded from their position, and they passed that ultimately. So we have made a little bit of progress, but the locality pay, market pay discussion, whatever you want to call it, it's not going away. I think that the pieces are there because I think everybody wants to see the entire state succeed.
Were you surprised or not? I guess the only two options there. That there was really no drama around the budget and the 5% personal income tax cut at the end of the session. There was a lot of rumor, well, the governor might do this, the House could do that, and we could have a big kerfuffle, to borrow the line. None of that really came to fruition. The governor had a couple line item vetoes. They seemed pretty mild. Everybody agreed, and it looks like the governor's actually celebrating the work that has been done this session.
Yeah, I think that the governor is kind of getting his footing when it comes to his relationship with the legislature. I think that we passed the budget earlier than I've ever seen it in my 4 years here. So I think that was in anticipation of any potential kerfuffling or problems. But the numbers have to work, and the finance chairman, Vernon Chris, came to us with a budget that said the numbers work. That's good enough for me. I wholeheartedly trust the work of the House Finance Committee. I certainly trust the work of the Senate Finance Committee. Senator Barrett's excellent at what he does. So this is what we have. This is what we passed. This is what the governor approved.
He is Monongalia County Delegate Geno Chiarelli, back home after 60 days in Charleston. Are you glad to be out of a suit and tie?
More glad than you could possibly imagine. I love wearing suits and ties. However, 2 months of it straight, it's nice to be in a quarter zip again.
Hey, no kidding. Geno, appreciate you stopping by, buddy. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Dave.
We'll get your thoughts, 304-TALK, 304, my good, bad, and ugly from the session next.
West Virginia Natural Gas keeps energy affordable and our state competitive for growth. Producing and using more of our reliable, homegrown energy helps stabilize prices for families and small businesses. Natural gas already supports more than 73,000 West Virginia jobs and generates billions for our economy. Investing in West Virginia natural gas means affordability, growth, and a stronger nation. Natural gas, affordable, reliable, American.
This message is brought to you by the Gas and Oil Association of West Virginia.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. It makes you feel defeated. I'm just going to be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not going to be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
All the sports West Virginia is talking about.
Nikki Izzo-Brown, coach of the nationally ranked WVU women's soccer team.
I think they're just having a very good understanding of each other.
Join Kyle Wiggs, Brett Howe, and Coach Hunter weeknights for Sportsline on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronewstv.com.
On the next State of Minds.
I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
The West Virginia Lottery is coming to a town near you with Back to Roots Promotion Tour. 40 stops means 40 chances to win. Every $5 in-store purchase gets an entry for a chance to win cash and great prizes. So put your best 80s gear on and join the tour. Visit WVLottery.com for details. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Amelia Knisley, on loan from West Virginia Watch, will join us coming up top of the hour as we continue to reflect and put a bow on the 60-day legislative session. My good, bad, and ugly from the legislative session. First, the good. We'll work our way toward the worst. But the good, I agree with Geno, Delegate Chiarelli, the House's Jobs First agenda. The House had a plan coming into the session, stuck to it, and those bills individually, if you look at them, portable benefits and access roads, even just getting taxes off construction materials for the government. I mean, some of these bills, they're solid singles, a couple of doubles, but when you put them collectively, just like the overused baseball analogy, when you put them together collectively, you start to string hits together, you get wins. You get wins. So I thought the House had a plan, stuck to that plan, did a good job. Up until the last couple of days, couple of hours, I thought the legislature, for the most part, avoided some of the topics that just absolutely sucked the air out of the room last year. Vaccine laws, vaccine mandates. We didn't have long discussions on certificate of need that sucked the air out of the room. Yes, there was some weird stuff. There was the machine gun bill over in the Senate. There was this weird discussion about cabaret and go-go dancers. But I thought for the most part, we avoided those subjects that just suck the air out of the room and are used as almost distractions, become distractions in the middle of the session. In fact, right up until the Rayleigh's Law debate that came forward in the final hours, it was, according to Brad McElhinny, sort of a boring final day right up until that point. All right, the bad, over on the Senate side, where the House had an agenda plan, the Senate did not have a plan, and it showed. And since there was no plan, it went off in several directions, and some things got tossed by the wayside, such as the school aid formula. There was nothing done on that, either in the long term or the short term. There was no addressing special needs funding. Now, these topics came up. There was discussion. The House passed a new school aid formula, but it was kind of late in the game by the time it got over to the Senate side. There was an effort to get immediate funding, or as close to it as you could, for special needs students. That did not ultimately happen. That was the bad. The biggest swing and miss was Team West Virginia. That was the home run, to use my overused baseball analogy once more. That was the home run that brought all these singles together. And I'm sure we'll talk more about it tomorrow when TJ is back. He's just off today. He'll be back tomorrow. But Team West Virginia was that glue that brought all of these Jobs First agenda items together. Based off the Jobs Ohio model. Kentucky has a similar model, but it puts you into the game. It takes the politics out of economic development. I think that's a big swing and a miss this session to not get that through as part of the Jobs First agenda that came out of the House. And the ugly was Rayleigh's Law. The ugly was Rayleigh's Law. This bill has come through the House. It's passed the House in the past. There were delegates arguing against this bill that have voted for it in the past. And I understand the trepidation by some, but when you read this law, and I had read it more than a half dozen times, probably 8 different times, looking for what the critics of this law were proclaiming would be restrictions on, particularly on homeschool students and homeschool families. I did not see that in there. Did not see that in there. And the fact that it came down to a last-minute procedural thing and time ran out, that's the ugly of the session. All right, take a break, wrap up the hour. Back in a moment.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
At the Health Plan, we are here for you, and we have been one of the most trusted carriers for over 40 years. Headquartered right here in West Virginia, providing exceptional health coverage and local customer service.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
Every day in West Virginia, we play for something bigger.
As a mom, I play for her education.
I play because it helps provide care for the ones who care for us.
I play to help keep our parks beautiful.
Why I play? Because every play supports West Virginia's future, our students, our seniors, and our state parks. For 40 years, proceeds from the West Virginia Lottery have totaled nearly $13.7 billion. I play. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
At Glenville State University, we are pioneers. With over 45 undergraduate degree programs, 17 NCAA athletic teams, and countless campus organizations and activities, we're here to help you build your story while becoming a part of ours. Glenville State University, your dream, your future, your story. Visit glenville.edu today for more information.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. Makes you feel defeated. I'm just gonna be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not gonna be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2 coming up on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. Hoppy Kercheval 5:55 a.m. How early did you get in that day, by the way?
Probably 3:30.
How long did you do sign-on shift?
I signed on like 7 years.
Not all.
6 days a week for 7 years.
Lightweight.
I know. Couldn't do it now. Now when I wake up at 3:30 is to go to the bathroom. And go back to bed.
Welcome to the 2 o'clock hour, Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com on a Wednesday, and I apologize because Stephanie Pauly is our producer, one of the producers of the show, and normally she has everything. We have a thing we call the run sheet, when we have who we're calling and what we're doing and so on. And so and Stephanie, I don't even know whether you know this, I did the run sheet today, and I put the wrong date on. I put 2025 on it. Because how many of us in modern day actually write the date out anymore? I mean, you did it when you were in school, you did it back when people wrote checks and whatever. This may have been the first day that I have written the date down, and I was responsible for putting together the sheet. And my co-host, the lovely and talented AB, starts the show by saying January 24th, 2025, because she read it directly off the sheet. And it is indeed the year of our Lord, 2026.
Oh, yeah, he did find something out. Something, you're related to Thomas Jefferson?
Well, no, I'm not related to Thomas Jefferson, but I am related to Samuel Kercheval, who was a historian.
I'm going to tell you something about Samuel Kercheval. Him and Jefferson out smoking corn silk. Kercheval told him, Thomas, I don't know about this country. Might want to start again.
He could.
So I don't have a monitor here, so I really can't see what happens at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. So at what point do I pop up? When the music starts and Mr. Announcer comes on?
Yeah.
So they see all the little panic things that I do that I'm still in the process of setting up?
Yes. They see you shuffle about uncomfortably. They see you blow the dust off your headphones. They see you put in like 2 cough drops at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I don't do 2 at the same time. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know that. I should probably. Now, these shows are archived, right? So I can go back and watch them.
Yes.
So I could live this show in real time and then go home and, when I say something to Linda like, hey, did you hear when I did this? And I don't watch it. Well, let's get in front of the TV and watch me do it again for 3 straight hours.
Yes, it's archived just like the audio podcast.
Ah, that's right.
And see, this is the thing that gets the NCAA in trouble, when it goes to court here. Is there a clock or not? Greg, we talk about the clock all the time. Mm-hmm. If he began in 2019, the clock should have run out, whether he's played the 4 years or not. And that's part of the argument, because some guys go right through the clock, right? TJ Finley, we've mentioned many times on this show. 7th team coming up this year. He's playing for Incarnate Word. He's played 7 seasons at 7 different schools. Now, why hasn't his clock started? Why doesn't he have the 5-year clock? So if you're Aguilar, I get it.
He just bounced him off the ropes. Somebody save this man. Oh, my Lord. Oh. Very nice, very nice. He hit him with everything he didn't want.
$10 seconds remaining. There'll be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable, gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
Things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But, if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be, work out. You're going to be successful. And it may not be in the world's eyes, but God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things, and I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard, and if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of MetroNews Talkline. Dave Wilson in the Encova Insurance Studios. TJ's out today. He'll be back tomorrow. And I'm sure he'll be itching to jump into some of the topics we're covering today. Good, bad, and ugly from the legislative session. Plus, we'll talk some basketball. Kyle Wiggs, host of MetroNews Sportsline, also spent last week in Charleston covering the girls basketball tournament. We'll be in Charleston this week for the boys tournament. We'll recap that. And the Mountaineer women will be playing host to hopefully a couple of NCAA games this weekend coming up as well. We'll dive into that bottom of the hour. Your texts are welcome. 304-TALK-304. That is the text line. Showed us your thoughts on the session. 800-765-TALK, that's the phone number. Sophia Wasick's our audio producer today, and Jake Link runs the video stream. Joining us on loan from West Virginia Watch, Capitol reporter who spent the last 60 days in the belly of the beast, Amelia Knisley, joins us this morning. Good morning, Amelia.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. You survived another 60 days. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm wearing my sweatshirt I wear every year after session that says, make state government more boring. And after day 60, I feel that it was the right choice to wear today.
Well, day 60 itself, according to the MetroNews Statewide Correspondent, for several hours was kind of ho-hum and boring right up until it wasn't.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. It was a weird day of the main bills. I think Brad and I were there to kind of cover the same bills, school funding, tax cut, Rayleigh's Law, teacher pay raise, et cetera. They all were most of them were pushed until the last hour. And so that last hour, really intense debate in the House coupled with the Senate finally deciding to sign off on a couple of bills made the last hour into 2 a.m. for us really busy. But the day itself was pretty boring. So
why do you think Rayleigh's Law, which has passed out of the House in the past, it's come through the legislature the last, 5-6 years, why did it take on a life of its own this year?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I try not to predict too much anymore what's going to happen to bills because we know it is, even in a super, super majority, you just don't know what's going to happen to a bill. But this year was different for Rayleigh's Law. This was the first time we saw a Republican introduce it, and it was a Republican in leadership. Senator Amy Grady, who is chair of the Education Committee, she introduced it. And so that kind of to me signaled, I think it'll go through this year. But I think it just always receives intense pushback from the homeschool community and the very pro school choice advocates in the legislature that I would say we have a pretty school choice friendly legislature in general, but kind of the really strong ones. And I think it was really a perfect storm of the proposed changes to the Hope Scholarship mostly impacted homeschool families. And so that group was already activated when Rayleigh's Law came up as well. So I think that contributed to it. But it is interesting to watch, homeschoolers statistically make up a pretty small amount of West Virginians, but they have a very strong presence at the legislature. So I think that all contributed to it.
Amelia Knisley is joining us from West Virginia Watch. When that bill came back over from the Senate and they finally took it up in the House in the closing minutes, what are you thinking at that point?
I'll be honest, by the time 10 o'clock rolled around, I thought it was dead. Just because I started noticing certain members of the House, particularly I would say members of what I would call the Freedom Caucus, were starting to stand up and ask lengthy questions. And, I'm not in their brains. I can't speak for them. But as an observer, to me, it just signaled that there was a little bit of like a prolonging filibustering efforts beginning. But when it came up at 11, I did, of course, you think maybe it will pass and they'll run it back to the Senate. But there were so many people standing up every few minutes. I really felt like it was hard to even follow what we were voting on and what we were about to vote on, because every few minutes somebody was standing up with a question or a point of order, a time limit. And yeah, I didn't think it was going to make it, but I also didn't expect it to get as fiery as it did.
Amelia Knisley joining us on loan from West Virginia Watch. Coming into the session, we were talking about school aid formula needs to be overhauled. It hasn't been touched since, the first Bush administration. We need to talk about special education funding. Hancock County is having all of its problems. We leave the legislative session and not much, if anything, really happened as far as education goes, public education.
Yeah. Yeah, this was not really a year where we saw public ed at the forefront of the conversation, even though coming into it, we were told school funding will be a big focus. Now, there were those pushes from Senator Grady and from Delegate Ellington in the House. They had bills that would make adjustments to the school funding formula for a couple of things, but I would say the most notable changes were to account for our declining student population and our growing number of special ed students. And by the time that bill shook out to Saturday, all that was left in it was I would say improving special ed funding, but not until 2027 because they'd already passed the budget. And even that failed to make it through on the finish line. And I don't know that I can blame Rayleigh's Law for that, because the Senate had this bill, but for whatever reason, they chose to put this E-Verify bill that Brad has described really well at the end of their day. And of course, that took a long time. So they never got to the special ed funding. And so that didn't make it. We saw a 3% teacher pay raise, but this just really wasn't a year where public ed was the overall focus of the legislature.
I've learned to not be surprised at anything, but I was a little bit surprised because there was so much. It felt like it had momentum going into the session, but once we got into that 60-day session, a lot of that momentum came to a screeching. There were efforts. You mentioned Doc Ellington and Amy Grady, but that momentum just really came to a halt about midway through the session.
I know. And it was difficult to figure out why, because when I would have conversations with Senator Grady, from what she was telling me, she was doing everything she could behind the scenes to work with the finance chair in the Senate to get this through. But really, to me, it just seemed like money derailed a lot of those conversations. And of course, this was a year that we had to more than double our payments to the Hope Scholarship, which is the education voucher program. So I think as we go into this election season, which I'm not ready for, but we're about to turn the page from session into primaries. If you're a candidate who is running on a public school platform, they've given you a lot of stuff to run with, because it was not a year that we saw a lot of focus on that, while we did see a more than 400% increase in funding for school vouchers.
Well, Delegate Chris, the finance chairman over the House, pretty much said as much on the floor during the budget presentation. Like, if you want a reduction in the personal income tax, you want to fully fund Hope Scholarship, we can't do it all. So pick which ones you want. Yeah. And, we got a 5% personal income tax reduction. Hope Scholarship's fully funded, and public ed stays where it is, despite a dozen county school systems that are right on the brink of joining Hancock County.
Absolutely. And I think, too, it's worth noting that the governor very much was a proponent of fully funding Hope Scholarship at its $300 million price tag. And when we had a press conference at some point during session and asked him about public school funding, he was kind of like, I didn't even know they were having issues with special education funding. Nobody ever brought that to me. Now, we've been reporting that for years, and it was talked about in finance committees, et cetera. But at least he says that when he was putting together his budget, he didn't know that was a problem. We just didn't really hear a lot from the governor's office either as far as addressing public school funding. He wanted to do the teacher pay raise. But anyway, I think that it was really in both branches it just really wasn't the priority this year, despite those efforts from some senators we saw.
Amelia Knisley joining us, West Virginia Watch. CPS foster care bills. There were some bills and some progress in that area this year.
Yeah, there were. I mean, we saw, I lost count, dozens and dozens of foster care bills this year. I would say it was like a second or third level interest. I think the most notable one that died is the CPS privatization bill. We saw the Judiciary Chairman in the Senate, Tom Willis, try to pass that once and then try to amend it into another bill, and the House just didn't take that up by midnight. And there was really no appetite in the House from that, from what I understood. I would say one of the most notable bills that's headed to the governor's desk is a bill brought by a foster teen that she pushed for and worked with Delegate Evan Worrell. And it is to amend our foster care bill of rights to make sure that children in the system are told about court appointments involving their cases that could affect if they're going to be reunified with their family or not, or be adopted. And so to see a foster teen work so well with a delegate and get that bill to the governor's desk. He hasn't signed it yet as of Saturday when I checked, but I think that was a big win for foster kids this year at the session.
I've been doing good, bad, and ugly this morning. Give me your good, bad, and ugly from the last 60 days.
The good was being with all the reporters. We don't get to all be together all the time. And so that was really fun to be in the press room and just getting through everything together. The bad, I mean, when you're that close to the sausage making, sometimes it is not the look that you get. You can be discouraged sometimes, because we all want our state to be better. But I would say that's the bad. And then I would say the ugly, my lack of sleep, the bags under my eyes. Can that be my answer? That's ugly. And I have to just give a special shout out to the Crab Rangoon ban bill, even though it didn't go anywhere. I love a weird bill. And the bill to ban fake meat really brought me joy this year. Last year it was standing up on motorcycles. This year it was the fake meat bill. So
I forgot all about. See, I've already forgot all about that bill already. That's the way the session goes.
Yeah, if there could just be if you could add a category for weird, I would put that one in there. And I just love the debate on it. So that would be the weird.
Amelia Knisley, West Virginia Watch. What do you do with yourself now? Session's over.
Oh my gosh. I had a feeling you were going to ask me this. So for us in the press, we're still kind of covering stuff that died or made it, and of course waiting governor signatures. But I got some really juicy FOIAs back during session. One of them has to do with Kennedy Miller, who's been in the news. And that case, I should say. So I am really looking forward to doing some more investigating in child welfare. So that's what I'll be focusing on.
Oh, we didn't even touch on the Human Services Secretary, Alex Mayers. While all this was going on, he stepped down this weekend.
Yeah, yesterday was his last day. Yeah, he is moving on. And that is a huge role, as you know. I don't know who will fill it and who will want to step into it, because you're inheriting foster care crisis and also major federal changes to Medicaid and SNAP, and they're all under that same umbrella of DOHS. So that will be interesting to see. We're getting ready to go to undergo some major SNAP changes as we're having an administration change. So that will be something to watch in the coming months too.
Amelia Knisley, on loan from West Virginia Watch, Capitol reporter. You can read her work over at westvirginiawatch.com. Amelia, always a pleasure, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Always a pleasure. Thank you. Good to see you.
304-TALK, 304 is the text line, 800-765-TALK is the phone number. If you have a child who is a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone who does, listen up. Here is your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, and tuition, as well as fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. wvmetronews.com. The application deadline is May 3rd. We'll get to some text coming up next. 304-TALK, 304. That's the text line, 800-765-TALK's the phone number. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
WVU Medicine Nephrology is committed to providing advanced kidney care at its primary location in Morgantown's Suncrest Town Center, and also at outreach sites in Buchanan, Clarksburg, Elkins, Fairmont, Flatwoods, Grafton, Kaiser, Moorfield, and Summersville in West Virginia, and Oakland, Maryland. Our expert team of nephrologists use the latest diagnosis and treatment methods. Call 855-WVU-CARE or visit wvumedicine.org/nephrology.
Welcome back, class of 2011.
Most likely to be a millionaire, didn't quite make it. Hey, reunion's not over yet.
Over here, millionaire, smile.
Make room, people.
Who is that?
Congratulations to our very own Millionaire for Life!
Never too late, man.
You could win up to $1 million every year with Millionaire for Life. Play in store or online today. West Virginia Lottery. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Some relationships just work better with trust, reliability, and great communication. That's why more West Virginians are choosing CityNet Gig Fiber. Fast, symmetrical speeds, no contracts, no data caps, and local teams monitoring the network around the clock. Plus, for a limited time, new residential customers can get 50% off any internet plan for a full year, with plans starting as low as $25 a month. Check availability at your address. Visit citynet.net today. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. Makes you feel defeated. I'm just gonna be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not gonna be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
On the next State of Minds.
I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
Kyle Wiggs joins us bottom of the hour, host of MetroNews Sports Line, and of course part of the MetroNews crew covering the girls basketball tournament last week. Will be in Charleston with us for the boys tournament this week. We'll talk basketball with Kyle, bottom of the hour. 304 Talk, 304. Let's get to some text here. Dave, will the governor sign the school transfer bill? I have no idea what the governor will do with that. You never know until he either signs or vetoes a bill. I don't see why he would not. And that's a big accomplishment. That is a big accomplishment, at least from the high school athletics standpoint, that the legislature repealed that. There were some who voted for the repeal, who voted for the transfer rule the first time. So we'll see how it goes now that that is back in the hands of the West Virginia SSAC, where it should be. where it should be. 304 Talk 304. Does the new FCC rule against criticism of the federal government change the rules for steam release? Nothing changes the rules for steam release. The critique of the legislative process in the last week will give the independent voters more influence now that the Republican Party excluded them from the primary in May from the Northern Outpost. 304 Talk 304. My spouse served in the House for many years, and we watched the 60th day this year for the first time in many years. We were extremely disheartened by what we saw. I think Rayleigh's Law in its current form is the result of a good faith effort at compromise, and it's reasonably addressed the concerns of homeschoolers. I think the result is a good piece of legislation that will help keep kids safe while not encroaching on homeschooling rights. Such compromises used to be commonplace when the legislature was more evenly divided by party, and I think the state benefited. It seems these divisions in Republican Party extremism are costing us good legislation and creating chaos in the process. A couple of points. One, there was chaos when Democrats had supermajorities, so that happened. But two, to the first part, I do think this was a good piece of legislation. And it had bipartisan support. Over on the Senate side, you had Senators Amy Grady, Ryan Weld, Republicans, Democrat Joey Garcia, who was, I think, very influential in helping keep this bill alive. Certainly Amy Grady was as well. It had bipartisan support over on the House side. And I do understand, I do get it. And I don't want to discredit or just push off somebody else's argument to the side. I do get the concern that homeschool families have. They have anecdotal evidence and stories to support people who have made it difficult for them to make the choices they wanted to make. I get where they're coming from. I really do. But this piece of legislation was narrowly crafted to prevent a child who is involved in an investigation about abuse and neglect from being pulled out of schools or transferred schools and isolated to hide the abuse. That's what this bill would have done. It was very narrowly tailored. And then once it was reported, there was a time limit. It varied between 7 and 10 days. I'm not sure where they landed there, but there was a point. And the bill said if the report is not substantiated in X amount of days, I think it was 7 or 10, then you cannot prevent them from pulling the kid out and homeschooling them or transferring schools. So the bill was very narrowly tailored to go after the bad actors. Not the good actors, not the people who feel that homeschooling is the best choice for them and their children. That's not who this bill was targeted at, who this bill was aimed at. It was aimed at the bad actors, the abusers. And I think it was a good piece of legislation. It was a compromise piece of legislation, and one that had sailed through the House in previous years. And the fact that it took last-minute shenanigans to both get it through the Senate again and then get it back over in the House is disappointing. That's why it's my ugly, in the good, bad, and the ugly. This could have been a very simple piece of legislation. Again, it has passed through the House in the past. To prevent abusers from pulling kids out of school where people see them so that kids can be isolated. And I get it. I understand the concern, the trepidation from homeschool families. I really do. I hear you. I just don't believe this bill encroached on those rights in any significant way at all. 304 Talk 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255. That's the phone number. We'll change gears coming up, bottom of the hour. Kyle Wiggs will join me, host of MetroNews Sportsline, MetroNews Sports. We'll talk about the girls' basketball tournament that wrapped up last week. Boys are on tap this week, and the Mountaineer women will host a couple of first and second round games at Hope Coliseum coming up this weekend in the women's NCAA tournament. Your text as well, 304-TALK 304. That is the text line. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. TJ's out today. He will return tomorrow. In fact, we'll both be in the Encova Insurance Studios in Charleston the rest of the week. This is Talkline on Metro News. Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It is 11:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening across the great state of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News. I'm Chris Lawrence. Stormy weather with high winds starting to exit the state to the east, according to James Zavlinski at the National Weather Service in Charleston.
So our severe weather is diminishing. It's still along the eastern panhandle into early afternoon. So our severe threat will be over. However, we'll still be gusty across the area, just below advisory criteria, except for the mountains, who will continue above advisory criteria into Tuesday morning. And then we have this cold front moving through right now.
That'll be followed by cold temperatures with freezing conditions tonight and snowfall that could coat the ground in the western counties and put down 2 to 4 inches in the mountains by Tuesday afternoon. A former corrections officer at the FCI Morgantown has pleaded guilty to accepting bribes from inmates for contraband. 41-year-old Elena Massey of Roanoke, West Virginia, pleaded guilty to bribery of a public official in federal court. The U.S. attorney said Massey was working as a corrections officer and allowed prisoners to keep cell phones and provided new ones, along with alcohol and tobacco in exchange for payment, collecting more than $20,000. She'll now face up to 15 years in prison. A bill to give teachers, school service workers, and state police a 3% pay raise survived the legislative session. However, a measure that had been amended into the bill to address locality pay was stripped back out. The Senate Finance Committee Chairman Jason Barrett said the locality pay looked like it had a shot, but the House did not make it a priority. You're listening to Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
The last class of the day for my student athletes isn't English, science, or math. It's school sports, where the #1 priority is teaching, just like every other classroom. As their coach, I help them grow as leaders and become better people, preparing them for the game and, more importantly, for life. That's why the best wins are the lessons they learn, which will impact them long after their playing days are over. Encourage your student to participate in school sports.
This message presented by the WVSSAC and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Mountaineer women's basketball team landed a number 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, and Morgantown's Hope Coliseum will host the first-round game. The bracket has number 4 West Virginia taking on number 13 Miami of Ohio Saturday afternoon at 5 on ESPNU. The other first-round game in Morgantown will feature number 5 Kentucky and number 12 James Madison. Winners of those games will meet in the second round on Monday, also in Morgantown. Miami won the Mid-American Conference tournament title this past Saturday. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
.304 Talk 304, that's the text line. We'll get some of your texts coming up. As you had heard Chris Lawrence mention, the Mountaineer women's basketball team will be hosting first and second round games at Hope Coliseum in the NCAA women's tournament. Mountaineers, the 4th seed. They found out their seeding yesterday during Selection Sunday. Also, girls basketball, high school girls basketball tournament wrapped up last weekend. I guess this past weekend. Boys will get started tomorrow. Metro News Sports and the host of Metro News Sportsline, Kyle Wiggs, joins us this morning. Good morning, Kyle.
Good morning.
Let's start with the Mountaineer women. They were 99% confident they were going to be hosting a first-round game. They got the official word yesterday. The number 4 seed will be taking on Miami, Ohio on, Saturday, I believe they play.
Yeah, Saturday, and it'll be interesting to see. They haven't played since a week ago Sunday, so it'll be almost 2 full weeks. It'll be 13 days between games for the women. Of course, probably everybody's in the same boat, but it'll be interesting to see a couple of things, to see how they respond to that layoff. And secondly, it's a perfect time. It's the middle of the day Saturday, so there's no reason why this game shouldn't come close to setting an all-time attendance record for WVU women's basketball. The tickets, I believe, went on sale at 10 o'clock this morning. The Mountaineer fans, women's basketball fans, Mountaineer fans in general have longed for an NCAA regional at the Coliseum. It's been since the early 90s. So now's the time to show out. This team earned it. They went through the Big 12 tournament, defeated TCU, who had beat them twice in the regular season. So they certainly earned their place in the top 16, and I think it's just going to be an incredible atmosphere Saturday for that game. If I'm not mistaken, I know two of the largest crowds. One was the NCAA tournament game the last time the Mountaineers hosted back in the early 90s. That was the Rosemary Kasoric, Donna Abbott, Lori Wilson days, and West Virginia beat Clemson. That was a Sunday afternoon. I was in the building for that one, and it was close to 10,000. And then the other game that comes to mind was when Brittany Griner came here with Baylor, and they were number one in the nation, and that was close to a sellout. There's been some games when Connecticut has come to town back in the Big East days where they had huge crowds, but I think this is going to be an incredible event on Saturday, and hopefully come close, if not set, an all-time WVU women's basketball attendance record.
Mountaineers will take on Miami, Ohio. On the other side of that bracket, Kentucky will play James Madison. The winners will meet on in the second round on Monday. Of course, we'll have coverage at WVMetroNews.com. Girls high school basketball tournament wrapped up on Saturday. Parkersburg, Greenbrier East, James Monroe, and St. Mary's were crowned champions. Kyle, what stood out to you last week during the tournament?
Well, a lot. I mean, a lot in all four classes. Parkersburg avenging two regular season losses to Parkersburg South. All of that extremely good young talent for Parkersburg South. They started 3 freshmen and hung in there until the very, very end. But it was experience, I think, that ultimately won out for Parkersburg. Lauren Flanagan, longtime starting point guard for Parkersburg and the senior leader. She hit those threes to set the tone and then led them in scoring. And Parkersburg wins that game 59-53 in what was a very, very deep field in Quad A. Of course, AAA, you had U.S. Senator Jim Justice there with his Greenbrier East team, and what a dream season that was. Not only did they win a state championship, their first since 2012, but they completed an undefeated season. So just an absolute dream campaign for Greenbrier East. They win it all, and they finish undefeated. And what a story East Fairmont was, battling through injuries the entire season, and they get all the way to the state championship game, pulling off a couple of upsets along the way. And Casey Rogers, Kaylee Hammond of East Fairmont, Emma Moore of East Fairmont, all on the all-tournament team. And, of course, Greenbrier East with so many standouts, including Ava Workman and the MVP of the tournament, Kennedy Stewart. They certainly were the best team in the class. So that was very, very impressive. James Monroe dominant in Class AA. It was fun to watch that team play. Maya Dunlap, somebody told me that one of the coaches yesterday, one of the boys' coaches, said that Maya Dunlap, in his opinion, was the best player in the entire tournament. She was MVP of the AA level. So that's quite a statement about the young lady playing at the AA level. And then single A, St. Mary's, beating Gilmer County, and first championship for St. Mary's in 36 years. And they win it all, and it was very fun to be entertained by Fred King all week long, the St. Mary's coach. I mean, that guy is one of the all-time greats in terms of just being a very good, genuine person who cares about his school, cares about his players, cares about his community, and that all came through. I mean, we had him on the sports line. Of course, we interviewed him after each of their victories, and it was really, really fun. You know, you need guys like that to have a tournament. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And he was front and center the entire week, and it was great to get to know him a little bit better.
I have known him a long time. He's always been Freddie King has always been a small schools guy, whether it was Payton City, Sistersville, Tyler County, now St. Mary's, involved in sports, high school athletics for 50 years. To see him get an opportunity to coach a state championship team, was really happy for him. Obviously loved that St. Mary's got a chance to win that championship on Saturday. Obviously, you know, Blue Devil, bleed purple and gold here. But the entire term was fun. And Kyle, you mentioned it, so much young talent. Yeah. A lot of these players are back next year for a lot of these teams that made deep runs. So really looking forward to the girls' tournament again next year.
Yeah, no doubt. And as you mentioned, Parkersburg South got to the finals with 3 freshman starters. How about that? Jariah Pryor of George Washington was kind of banged up towards the end of their semifinal round game, but her and Rihanna Breckenridge of GW both back next year. Morgantown comes back hopefully healthier with Kaylee Kellogg and Brenna Nelson, 2 players that were starters previously but were injured and didn't play. They're both underclassmen, and Morgantown started 2 freshmen as well. So up and down the lineup, up and down the classes, a lot of very, very good young players in this tournament.
All right, we've got complete recaps, highlights, post-game coverage. You can watch the championship games on the Metro News TV app. All of the girls' coverage from last week still available at wvmetronews.com. Now we get to turn around and do it all again. The boys will take center stage starting tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, Kyle, and when I look at these classes and I look at the field of teams, there are some deep fields. Even at Class 4A, I think just about anybody in that bracket could end up winning the title this year.
Yeah, 4A is going to be great because there has been, quite frankly, an upper echelon, but some of these other teams have improved and gotten better as the season has gone along. Washington has pushed its way up into the top, the very top in Class 4A. University's a team that's been there on the cusp all season long, and their last game of the regular season, they played Spring Mills, who is, by the way, their quarterfinal round opponent. They played them to a single possession. So University has gotten better. But at the top, you've got George Washington and Noah Lewis, who's just playing incredibly well. You've got a Morgantown team that's there every year. They're deeper, play a little bit of a different style than we're accustomed to seeing Morgantown play. Spring Mills is coming back with Akwesi, Opoku, a Champong, who's considered by many. Hey, I've called his games for 3 years now. I'm ready. But Akwesi, regarded by many as the best shooter in the state, along with Xavier Anderson, who's a WVU football recruit, an incredible athlete. They're the 3rd seed. We mentioned Washington is the 4th seed. Parkersburg South with Harry Silvis, a Player of the Year candidate. They're the 5th seed.
Yeah.
University's the 6th seed. Riverside's a great story. They're at the tournament for the first time in many, many years. And again, Huntington's battled through injuries all year, and they're peaking at the right time. So that's an incredibly deep class in Quad A, and it's going to be fun to watch.
And the best player in the state may be playing in Class AA, Eli Sancombe at Wheeling Central.
Yeah, 2 Division I players on that Wheeling Central team, Eli Sancombe and Max Oliash, and they come in as the defending champs and the prohibitive number 1 seed. So it's going to be tough for any of the other Class AA teams to knock that door down, but you never know. But again, this is one of the reasons we go to the state tournament, though, and get excited about it, is seeing the best players. And Sancombe and Oliash are 2 of the best players. Again, Wheeling Central may run its way through that bracket, but still, anytime you get a chance to see some of the state's best players, you have to take advantage of it. AAA is very deep. You've got teams that have improved greatly as the season's moved along. Chapmanville has ascended to the top of the class as the number 1 seed. North Marion has ascended to the top of the class. They're the number 2 seed. Bridgeport's back as the defending champ, a much different Bridgeport team, but still a team that's dangerous. You've got, how about the Winfield-Ripley 4-5 matchup? How crazy is the building going to be on Wednesday night when Winfield and Ripley play at the state tournament?
That I'm looking forward to. Kyle, you got me excited again. I'm ready to go back.
Yeah, well, you got a couple of nights of good sleep, right? During the break.
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5 during the break between the tournaments, and we're set to go. Got to mention Single A, too. We talk about Greater Beckley Christian has improved and ascended to the top of that class. Tug Valley is back, and St. Joseph, I was just looking at, I don't think we had St. Joseph ranked at all in our Metro News top 10 early in the season, but they just started winning games. They beat Wayne, who's a very good AA team. They beat Parkersburg Catholic, I think at the time was the number 1 team in our poll. They had lost to Tug Valley early in the season, but they got revenge on Tug Valley and beat them. So St. Joseph's is a team that's very dangerous. The East Hardy Parkersburg Catholic game in Single A should be very, very good as the 4-5 matchup. So, again, great matchups, great players. We're going to have great crowds. I think the girls' crowd on Saturday was wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as loud as I can remember since way back in the Hornbuckle, Renee Montgomery days when people used to come out to see them play. But that Parkersburg South State Championship game Saturday night in Quad A, that's as good of an atmosphere for a girls' game in that building that I can remember.
Before I let you go, what you got coming up on Sportsline tonight?
We're pretty full. We're going to start things off with Sydney Shaw of the WV women's basketball team and celebrate their good news from yesterday, hosting a regional. So Sydney will join us. She leads the Mountaineers in minutes played. She's also the top 3-point shooter on the team by a wide margin, 87 made threes on the year, shooting 42% from three. So Sydney Shaw right off the bat at 6:06. We hope to get some Mountaineer men's basketball talk in there. And then Lauren Flanagan of Parkersburg is going to join us about 6:35. And Parkersburg's actually having their championship celebration banquet tonight. So we're going to interrupt that for her for about 10 minutes. I don't think she'll mind.
I think she'll be okay.
She spent the whole week with a smile on her face. So we're gonna talk with Lauren Flanagan as well. So a packed show, and that's the only sports line of the week, as we'll take the rest of the week off as the focus is on the boys tournament down in Charleston.
Action tips off 9 o'clock tomorrow morning on the Metro News Radio Network and at WVMetroNews.com. We'll have all 4 championship games on the Metro News TV app on Saturday. Kyle, see you at the Coliseum tomorrow, buddy.
All right.
Take a break. Back in a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Building a stronger West Virginia isn't just a dream, it's a mission. The High Technology Foundation knows economic diversity is the key. For over 30 years, they've been dedicated to transforming the state's economic landscape. Conveniently located in the heart of West Virginia, innovation, growth, opportunity, all under one roof. There's no need to look far for change. It's happening right here at the High Technology Foundation in North Central West Virginia. Visit WVHTF.org to learn more.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com to apply. That's WVMetroNews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
with Metro News Hotline. If it's trending, it's probably here.
So it's Dennis, it's Rodman degrees out there today.
Oh, that sounds really uncomfortable.
I know it does. I know it does.
Is that legal? Is that past FCC? I don't know if you're allowed to say anything's Rodman something.
It's Rodman degrees.
That's like saying it's awful Diddy out there. I don't know that we can do that.
Yeah. Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Text line is 304-TALK-304. We'll get to a couple of those in just a moment. May not feel like boat weather right now, and it is not going to feel like boat weather today, but it won't be long before it is the perfect time to get out on the lake or the river, so get ready early with great deals on pontoon and fishing boats at Lewendell Marine Sales. Check out the entire inventory at LewendellMarineSales.com. Lewendell Marine Sales, we sell family fun. 304-TALK-304. Hey! How about a little love for the WVU rifle team that just won their 21st national championship, not to mention back-to-back? How about some love for them? Had to come from behind in the competition up in Columbus to win that back-to-back title. Congratulations to them, dominating as West Virginia should when it comes to rifle. P.T. Barnum Circus houses its operations in Sarasota, Florida during the winter. West Virginia houses its circus, especially clowns, at the state capitol in Charleston, says the texter. 304-TALK-304 is the text line. The answer to locality pay. Raise all teachers and state workers' wages to match neighboring states. Didn't Governor Morrissey run on the backyard brawl? Here's the thing about locality pay. If you, in the private sector, even in the federal government has locality pay. So you get a base salary. If you work in the D.C. metro market, you're going to make more money than the person who works, say, in Pittsburgh or in Clarksburg-Bridgeport. Why? Because the market over there, the cost of living is significantly higher in the Washington, D.C. metro area. So the federal government has locality pay. Private businesses will have locality pay. There'll be base salary, and then you'll get a supplement because you live in a metro area. So it's not the craziest idea in the world. But when you're talking about the politics of that, it's very hard. If you are a Boone County delegate, for instance, or if you are a delegate in Calhoun County, and you have these individual single-member districts to support legislation that may make sense statewide, it may make sense to have locality pay for teachers who are working in the Eastern Panhandle or the Northern Panhandle or the tri-state area, down in the Huntington area or the Charleston area, whatever the case may be. But it's very hard to go back and tell your teachers in your district, well, they're going to get more money than you. That's a hard sell. It is a hard sell. Is it needed? You can make a pretty good argument for it. You can make a pretty good argument because for as small as we are in West Virginia, we are very diverse. Delegate Chiarelli was correct. We are very diverse. The Northern Panhandle, where you're a stone's throw away from Pittsburgh, or the Eastern Panhandle, where you can be in downtown D.C. Within an hour or two. That is very different than McDowell County. That's very different than Cabell County. It's not the craziest idea in the world, but it is going to be a tough political sell. Take our final break, come back, and wrap things up in just a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Looking for a career that truly matters? Healthcare offers stability, great benefits, and careers that are in demand right now. From patient care to technology and support roles, healthcare careers offer flexibility and opportunity. Not sure where you fit? Take the quick healthcare career quiz at explorehealthcareerswv.com. Discover the path that's right for you. Healthcare careers, where passion meets purpose.
When my shift ends, I hang up my hard hat and head home, proud of the work we're doing here in West Virginia. Natural gas is more than energy. It's jobs, investment, and opportunity across our state. We put safety first and deliver reliable energy families and businesses count on. For families like mine, it means steady work and a stronger future. West Virginia Natural Gas, fueling communities today and building tomorrow.
This message is brought to you by the Gas and Oil Association of West Virginia.
Golf Week called Pete Dye Golf Club one of America's best modern courses. Golf Digest recently called Pete Dye one of America's 100 greatest courses, and Pete Dye calls it 18 of the most exciting and memorable holes I've ever built on one course. Pete Dye Golf Club invites you to join the only course named after the legendary designer himself. National, corporate, and local memberships available now for a limited time. Visit PeteDye.com to learn more. Come play where the Mountaineers play at Pete Dye Golf Club.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
The West Virginia Lottery is coming to a town near you with the Back to Roots promotion tour. 40 stops means 40 chances to win. Every $5 in-store purchase gets an entry for a chance to win cash and great prizes. So put your best 80s gear on and join the tour. Visit WVLottery.com for details. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Let me see. 304 Talk, 304 the text line. All right, TJ's back tomorrow. We're both going to be in Encova Insurance Studios in Charleston, as I will be covering the high school boys basketball state tournament, which it tips off. What am I talking about, Zach? It tips off tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. You can keep track of that across the Metro News Radio Network and, of course, at WVMetroNews.com. Quick shout out, and we could not have functioned at the state capitol the last 60 days without the help of the two communications directors. I think that's their titles, communications director for the Senate and for the House of Delegates. So big shout out to Jackie Bland and Ann Eli. We like to bother them at the very last minute to see if we can track down lawmakers in the final minutes leading up to the show, and 99% of the time, they come through. 99% of the time, they're able to pull it off. We appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for the help. Talk to you tomorrow at 10:06. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.